I am excited to welcome you to Writing Tips. My name is Joseph Jacob. Today, we are looking at the proper use of the quotation mark. The 7th edition of the Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary defines quotation mark as a pair of marks placed around a word, sentence, etc. to show that it is what somebody said or wrote, that it is a title, or that you are using it in an unusual way. The quotation mark is also known as the inverted commas. Let's now consider 4 ways we can use the quotation mark. Number 1, indirect speech. When we want to present the speaker's actual words, we use the quotation mark to enclose the actual words. Let's consider these examples. A correction expert, Robert Gangi, said, "Building more prisons to address crime is like building more graveyards to address a fatal disease." The quotation mark is used to show the actual words of Robert Gangi. Example 2. "It's a pleasure," the bank manager replied as he gave the customer a warm handshake. In this example, you will notice that "it's a pleasure" is the exact words of the bank manager. Sometimes we can split a quotation into 2. The next example will look at such. "Maintain possession, boys," the coach shouted. "We have a minute to go." This is just one quotation that is splitted into 2. We can join them together. "Maintain possession, boys. We have a minute to go," the coach shouted. Now, when we split a quotation into 2, like in this case, the second part of the quotation will not start with a capital letter because it is a continuation of the first part. That is why the "we" in the second quote did not start with a capital letter. Another example. "What is your name?" Ernest asked the beautiful hostess. "Drop the gun slowly and raise your hands," the policeman shouted. All these are examples. The exact words of the speaker is marked off with a quotation mark. The second use of the quotation mark is to make an unusual word stand out. When certain words like slangs and technical terms are used, especially in an unusual context, it is best to close it with a quotation mark. Doing so will make the word stand out, and it will also assure the reader that the writer deliberately used the word in that context. It is best to use such words and the quotation marks that go with them sparingly. Let's consider some examples. The politician is well armed with huge sums of money. When we say well armed, it always goes with carrying weapon. But then, in this example, the speaker is referring to money, but he chose to use the word well armed. Because it's an unusual word in this context, we can see it's marked off with quotation marks. Another example. This administration is gagging the press in the name of national security. We can notice that the national security is marked off with quotation marks. The philanthropist promised to cut me soap to start a new business. Cut me soap is a slang used in Nigeria to ask for help. So what this sentence is saying is that the philanthropist had promised to help the person involved start a new business. So, because the word cut me soap is a slang, that is why it is now quoted. Another example. 3 lions of England attack their opponent's penalty area like bandits. There is no relationship between banditry and football. But we are saying the pace, the force, the power, the aggression with which the 3 lion players attacked their opponent's penalty area made the writer to use bandits. So bandits is an unusual word in this context, and that is why it is marked off with quotation marks. Let's go to the number 3 way of using quotation mark. They are used for titles of articles, books, music, movies, etc. Let's consider some examples to this effect. Michael Jackson and Lionel Richie wrote "We Are the World." "We Are the World" is the title of the song, and that is why it's quoted. Another example. My best actor in Live Another Day is Jack Bauer. Live Another Day is a television series. Another example. Chinua Achebe's Things Fall Apart is a literary masterpiece. Things Fall Apart is a title of a book, so that is why it's quoted. Let's go to the 4th use of quotation mark. It is used to mark off short quotations or sayings. Look at some examples. Democracy is the government of the people. The speaker here is borrowing government of the people from the famous definition by the 16th president of the United States of America, Abraham Lincoln. So because he's just taking a part of the definition he gave to democracy, that is why it's quoted. Another example, when I was repaying the loan, I realized that he who goes borrowing goes sorrowing. He who goes borrowing goes sorrowing is a popular saying. So the speaker or the writer is putting it under the quotation mark because he has lifted a popular saying that is not actually his own. Remember to use a single quotation mark to enclose a quotation within a quotation. When you started a quotation with a double quotation mark, and within that quotation, you want to make another quotation, you can now use the single quotation mark to identify the quotation within the initial quotation. Look at an example. I have always wanted to learn the truth. Jesus said, "You shall know the truth, and the truth will set you free," the man said. The quotation was started with what the man said, but at some point, the man quoted Jesus, and the quotation inside that quotation was now marked by one quotation mark, which you can see under the blue highlight. Then after closing the single quotation with the blue highlight, you can now see that the main quotation was also closed with a double quotation mark. Now, it's time for an exercise. I hope you are ready. Place quotation mark at the right places in this passage. Very simple, isn't it? Well, let's do it together. The first thing we need to do is to read the passage. The principal told the students during the assembly, "I expect everyone to go home and prepare for our inter-house sports." The students shouted in excitement. It was rumored that Tubaba, who sang African Queen, will grace the occasion. If you look at this passage, you'll notice that the expression made by the principal is not a reported speech. I expect everyone to go home and prepare for the inter-house sports. It's a direct speech from the principal. So if it is a direct speech from the principal, it then implies that it should start with a quotation mark. The I here should start with a quotation mark, and then it should be closed after this pause. Now, another area or another place where we need to use the quotation mark is when we referred to Tu Baba and we mentioned the title of his song, African Queen. So the African Queen should also be quoted because it's referring to a title of a song. You will agree with me that we need to use the quotation marks 2 times in this passage. For attempting this exercise, you deserve applause. Thank you for watching this video. It is my hope that you enjoyed watching it. Our next video will focus on the punctuation mark : colon. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.